Hey friends, it is a kitchen day. I'm playing in the kitchen. I've got salsa that I am canning up. I've got roasted peppers. We're gonna turn those into hot sauce. That's actually what I'm gonna show you today. I am by no means a preservation expert. I am not a hot sauce expert. I am learning as I go. So take any ideas I have here and run with them, but make sure you do your own research first. So today I'm trying to get all of the peppers that I have in my freezer out, and I'm gonna turn them into hot sauces. So let me show you what I'm gonna do. The first thing that I have did is taken all of my frozen peppers out of the freezer, and I split them into two pans, oranges and reds and greens and yellows. And I did that so when I make my sauce, it has a good color and it doesn't turn into brown sauce. This is just an aesthetic thing. But so I'm taking all of my red peppers, which I've got a couple sweet but mostly hot. I roasted them until they started to get some color. I forgot to take off all their tops, so I'm doing that, and I'm gonna put them in here and mix them up in the food processor with some other ingredients. Now, if I had thought about this earlier, because I'm making hot sauce on a total whim, because that's what I do, right? If I'd thought about it earlier, I would have thrown this onion and garlic into chunks on that pan and roasted it too, and I probably would have got better depth of flavor. But since I just thought about this now, I'm gonna cut up an onion, and I'm gonna cut up a bunch of cloves of garlic. I'm just doing a rough chop on these because they're gonna go through the food processor. I'm just trying to cut it up small enough that it'll sweat out without cutting my fingers. So I'm gonna take all this plus about, I'm gonna say 6 cloves of garlic, and I'm gonna sweat it out. So here's been my process for deciding to make hot sauces today. My husband wanted me to go to the store and buy hot sauce, and I have tons and tons of peppers in the freezer. So I said, no, but I will make you some. So that's how this started. So I went online and looked at a whole bunch of different recipes for roasted hot sauce. I've made hot pepper sauce before by fermenting it, but I wanted to roast it this time. So I wanted to look at some different ways they did that. And I kind of have just decided to try 2 different kinds. Neither is an exact recipe. Both of them are just flying by the seat of my pants, and we'll see how they are. But for this more red-based one, the red and orange peppers, I'm going to add carrots in there. I should have roasted them. I threw them in at the last minute. But I want something to cut through the heat since we're not huge heat people. So I'm putting carrots in this one. And the other thing I read that can help cut heat is there's a jar of pineapples back there. There's pineapple or pineapple juice. I'm gonna add that into my more green yellow batch. So I'm gonna try pineapple or carrot as 2 different ways. I'm also gonna add a little bit of sugar to both of these. But right now I'm gonna go ahead and food process all those peppers and half of the onions and garlic that I just sweated out on the stove. And we're gonna mix that all up. Also a ½ cup of apple cider vinegar. I lied, a 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar, and a 1/4 cup of water to give myself a ½ cup of liquid in here just to help the mixture go. So here is my sauce. I put it in this pan. It's thicker than I would like. So I've decided I'm going to add some more liquid to it, but I don't want to go too vinegary. So I'm actually going to use some of this corn stock that I made last year from my corn cobs, and that's going to have some sweetness to it. I can always add more vinegar if I need to, but I need to thin it out. I also want to add a little bit of light brown sugar. I'm going to put a little bit of turmeric, some salt, a little bit of this tomato powder that I have to get a little bit of tomato flavor, and some paprika. So I'm going to add those all in there. Bring this to a simmer, let it simmer for maybe 10-15 minutes, and then start taste testing. So after it cooked for like 15 minutes, I poured it into the strainer over top of the bowl and took some time to kind of mash that down. I don't want any of the seed pulpy stuff. And I got this, and then I'm just gonna pour it into jars. So here is our finished product. I've got 3 jars of the red and 3 of the green, which is kind of brown, but when you roast something, I guess that's what happens. That's the best we can do. But aren't those pretty? Pretty much 1 baking tray of roasted peppers made almost 3 bottles of each kind. So that's kind of how I'm going to measure going forward. If I want 3 bottles, I need a full tray of roasted peppers. Okay, post-mortem, things I would do differently. First, I would roast those onions and the garlic and the carrots with the peppers in the beginning instead of just sweating them out. That roasted would have been, I might as well have done it. I had a whole tray going anyway. Why not? More flavor. Skipping a step of sweating them on the stove. I would have done that first. Second thing I would have done differently, I don't think anything. To be really honest, they both turned out really good. The flavor is good on both of them. This one is the one that I made on most of this video. It has got a lot more savory type flavors to it. The peppers, the garlic, the onion, the carrots more on the veg side. This one I ended up doing pineapple as my sweetener. So there's chunks of pineapple in it as well as pineapple juice. I did use some of that corn stock, but I avoided using the flavorings like the turmeric and stuff and just went with salt and pepper. And I put a little bit of parsley in there. So this has got a little bit more of the sweet flavor. Can you see my face? Look at this. I'm breaking out in sweats because I can't handle heat and my whole kitchen is like Pepper City, even though I had a fan going. So I need to get out of my kitchen. But very, very good. Very, very simple. It takes some time, but I was already in the kitchen canning salsa anyway. And minimal cleanup. Done. Now I've got 6 bottles of different hot pepper sauces in the fridge to use for the next couple months. So win-win. Hope you guys have a great night and I will see you again soon.